welcome to our channel. Today we'll be making custom dominoes using 2-part epoxy resin. This is my first time using this brand. I like to try different brands so that I can always have a backup if one supplier is out. This resin requires 2 equal parts to get a full hardening. That's what I'm doing here. You will mix it for about 5 minutes. I did like the consistency of this resin. It did not get a lot of bubbles once I was mixing, which some resins tend to do. The less bubbles when pouring usually are the less bubbles that pop up once it's settling. I want to use 2 different colors for this custom domino set, so I'm going to split half and half into one silicone cup. Disregard the color of the silicone cup. It's one of my favorites to use. The resin comes out easy once it's hard. I use the less resin pigment dyes and add glitter to them just to add a darker effect behind the glitter. So I used a couple of dots and I mixed that very well until I got the color that I was looking for. I'm going to add a few more because I wanted it a deeper color. I used licorice glitter from Glitter Lambs. Their glitter is solvent resistant, so it doesn't melt. I love their glitters. Please sure to check them out as well. They're very bright colored. I'll add the info to the info section. Make sure you mix whatever colors you use, whatever glitters you use, mix them really well. This resin had a good working time, so it didn't start to harden. I didn't have to rush. I really like that when I'm picking resins because I like to mix colors and glitters, and that takes time. So it's mixed really well. I'm satisfied with this, and I will start pouring directly from the cup. When using the silicone molds, you have to make sure to take your time but not add too much if you're gonna use 2 different colors. So I just filled the cavity about halfway so that it covered the entire bottom and left room for the second color, which will go through the top. There's 2 different ways you can pour that. You could pour this level or this layer and let it dry, and then do your second color, which will create a distinct 2 different layers. Or you can do like I'm doing in this video, and I'm going to pour both colors while both are wet, and that allows them to mix a little, sort of giving a marble effect without using like toothpicks and trying to do it. It just kind of does it on its own. Here I'm using red of the same brand, the Let's Resin pigment dyes, and Glitter Lambs a red Valentine's special that they had on red glitter. The name will be down in the comment section or the description section. So there I just poured a few to fill up more, let it expand. Here I'm using flame to get rid of the bubbles that did come up. The heat makes them disappear. I like this method, and on bigger pieces I use a heat gun to get the bubbles out. Once we're sure all the bubbles are gone, we sit it on a flat surface and let it do its thing. This is them completely dry. I set them outside in the heat for about an hour or 2 to let them set. The heat always helps them set faster, and then I brought them in and let them dry overnight, and this is the result. I love how they came out. I love their demolding very well. This I will leave a link to the silicone mold that I used down in the description. I saw a little defect there, but it's inside my mold, so I'm gonna do what I can to get that out. But the piece came out very well. I'm gonna use once I add the white dots and white lines, I'll be adding a gloss to them, so I'm not worried about that. It came out really nice. I'm really satisfied with them. Again, heat always helps the resin dry faster. I let the sun do its job, so I put them on a even surface outside to let them set, and then bring them in to finish drying. But they came out really well. This mold works great. I will be buying more of this mold and also giving tutorials on how to make your own molds soon. I like to make my own molds for unique pieces that I can't find. Or if I have a project that I get a lot of requests for, I like to have a lot of different molds so I can work on multiple projects at one time. So mold making videos will definitely be coming soon. Okay, they're all demolded, and now I want to show you how I do the white lines or black. I use these Posca markers. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. They're paint markers. I love them. I love the tip is narrow, so easy to do these small crevices with. And you just shake it, press it down. I use this a lot, so it's been used, but you shake it and then press the tip, which allows the paint to flow. Again, I hold it evenly flat, and the paint flows out of the tip. They're great for different projects. But I use this, and this is how I get the white markings. I buy them in bulk in black and white. But you can use metallic pens, metallic markers, metallic markers, especially the permanent ones, work very well. These are just my favorite choices. But I'm going to spray them with an acrylic gloss, so it'll protect the white mark from scratches or fading. Yeah, and I just go over the circles over and over again. I usually just do the layers one time, unless I see once it dries that it doesn't look fully covered. Then I'll go back on the ones that need to be redone. But for the most part, this is how I do them. And it can be wiped off while wet. I can use a Q-tip or my finger to get it off right then. Crafting can be messy. But if you love it, you don't mind. A Q-tip works. It comes right off before it dries. Once it's dry, put a little alcohol on the Q-tip and just wipe the surface. But yeah, this is how I complete this part. Again, you can use metallic, paint pens, anything with a narrow tip. Especially if you're gonna cover them with gloss or protect it. And that crevice right there is very thin. But again, once you hold it even with these paint markers, it just flows into the crevice and fills it. Sometimes you have to go back and forth several times. But it's worth it in the end. And you can also use a paintbrush and paint for this. I see some people do that, but I like the control of the paint markers. It works better for me. So I'm going to complete the rest here. And this is how they came out. And this is the crystal clear enamel that I use. I've been using it for years. I love it. Again, in the description section, I will put a link to it. And I spray them outside and let them dry out there for about they dry in like 30 minutes. I leave them for up to an hour. Just so I can make sure they're fully dry. And this is the final product. I love how they came out. Again, there are different ways to do the glitter. I'll do another video showing how you can have, instead of having your colors mix, because you see the red drop down into the black, and the back gives that, it's like a marble kind of effect, sort of like a deep space look. I love them. But I'll show how to keep two parts. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Glaze Creations.